Hi, everyone. Good afternoon, and welcome to episode 3 of the International Citizen Students Show, ICSS. My name is Elohor Udubrae, and we have wonderful, different, and diverse faces today on the show, and I'm pretty excited about today's session. So, based on popular opinion, request, and demand, we'll be discussing about settling into the UK by international students and citizens. So, but before we delve in and also hear from our wonderful guests, which we have today on the show, who are international students from Sri Lanka and Malaysia, it will also be nice to catch up with our hosts, Alex and Trevor. So, how are you doing, Alex and Trevor? What have you been up to? Tell us about the ISBS results. Yeah, over to
Yeah,
you.
no, thanks, Ella. Yeah, so I'm Alex. You might remember me from previous shows. So yeah, it's been an exciting time for the university this week, Trevor, hasn't it? Yesterday we got some incredible news that our business school won Business School of the Year and the Educate the North Award. So that was an amazing accolade as well. And Trevor, we've also had some great results in our International Student Barometer survey, haven't we?
Absolutely. From the International Student Barometer, loads of positive comments, loads of interesting stuff in terms of what we're doing, and the ranking is absolutely amazing. So it's been a beautiful week, a beautiful month altogether, and crowning it up yesterday with the Business School of the Year award that we won. That makes it really, really exciting. Thank you.
No, absolutely, Trevor. So, I mean, our Net Promoter Score, last year's International Student Barometer, I think, was 145 universities, and we came out top around a lot of the employability metrics, and we seem to have done even better in a lot of the categories this year. So, out of 165 universities, I think we were third for language support, which is amazing. Top 10 for living costs. University of Chester always comes out really positively around living costs and value for money, etc. Top 10, 15 for learning, and top 10, 15 for quality of lectures, top 10 for visa advice, which we're going to be talking about next month, 95.1% expert lectures, 96.8% feeling safe and secure on campus. The Chester in particular is really well known, for its safety. It's a beautiful city, very safe city. So lots to celebrate there, Trevor, isn't there?
Yeah.
A lot to be celebrated. Beautiful place, beautiful place to live in. Wonderful people. The people of Chester, wonderful. Great host, absolutely. Yeah, agree.
Fantastic.
I noticed that the weather itself has also been changing. If you're in Chester, like, how's it been? Because where I am currently in Crewe, it's been a bit of rain, it's been a bit of spring. Is it really spring now in Chester, or what's going on in Chester currently?
I'm walking about Chester now. You're going to see all the flowers blossoming, beautiful flowers coming out there, really lovely colors, getting really sunny. There's no day even between teaching. You find out I want to walk behind the river, behind the church building. I just want to walk around, feel that sunshine, feel that beautiful atmosphere. It's just coming there. Yeah, we're there now.
Just a quick reminder to listeners as well, to follow us on LinkedIn. I think this time we're streaming live to LinkedIn for the first time. Nice. Obviously, our people have got always questions about applications and CAS. Best direct those to international@chester.ac.uk. But if you've got any general comments, maybe you want to tell us, what country you're watching from, or you've got a general question, please put it in there, and we'll try and feature that on the show as well. And as you say, Trevor, please don't put any of your personal details or application numbers in the comments, just for safety purposes.
And if you're not watching live, and for any reason you streaming later, watching later on YouTube or any of our channels, please, by all means, email addresses will be provided. So just send us an email if you've got any question. Thank you.
Great stuff.
Awesome. Thank you so much. It's nice to hear all that we've achieved as an institution, and also around our equality, diversity, inclusion, because I can't sing it enough. Chester is a good space, or University of Chester is a good space for people, especially those coming in from international and diaspora. And it's also nice to know that we're top 10 in terms of living costs, because it's quite good when you're talking about settling down and living in a place where you know that you can afford it and also be able to thrive. So today our topic is settling in the UK. That's one of the things which people who will be coming in will be worried about, and also people who are already here will be trying to figure out their way around. And I'll just share a bit about myself, about how it came, how I've been settling down, or how it was when I came in first and foremost, before I invite our guest, and you will get to hear about their own perspective. I would also ask Trevor and Alex later on how they also had back in the days when they came in, how it was for them. But when I came in, I remember something that was very vivid for me. I was constantly crying because I came from summer straight into winter. And every time I'm going to the bus station, I was always crying. Like, I'll call my husband on the phone and I'll be like, it's cold. I can't deal anymore. But it's all right. Now I'm used to it. And there's definitely a lot more that we'll share about how to survive the weather, how to learning cultural differences, dealing with culture shock, managing homesickness, adapting to new ways of learning and assessment, also navigating the essential aspects about accommodation, transportation, and healthcare. But how was it for you, Trevor, when you first came in, about settling down? What did you do? How did you do it? Tell us more, please.
Oh yeah, it was a difficult one. It was a difficult one because at the time when I came in to study, we didn't have lots of international students like the way it is now, and that was like over a decade ago. So coming in, and there were lots of support services that were available, not at Chester at the time. That was in Sheffield. But what I had to do myself was try to keep in touch, stay in touch with home, and at the same time stay in touch with the services that were being provided by the university. You know, over time, it just started happening, and before you know it, I had to become more like a mentor to others who were just joining. So, like I'll say to everyone, the first cut is always the deepest, okay? Just take it one step at a time, and I'm sure it's going to happen. It's going to happen. And it will be interesting to hear from those who are currently studying with us now to see what they feel and how they dealt with it as we go on today. Thank you.
Elohor, we've got a few interesting comments and people saying from where they could. Do you want to feature a couple of those now, or would you like to come back to that a little later in the show?
I think we'll future some. I see someone asking, she's from Jordan. Oh, nice to see someone from Jordan. I want to ask about the support the university provides in order for you to break the ice between students and helping them make friends. And that's talking about social capital. How do you manage it? So I'll throw that to you, Alex. How do you manage coming into a new city? Sometimes you have language barriers, making friends and trying to adapt.
Yeah, thanks for that, Elohor. I spotted that comment from Celine as well, and I thought, what a great comment. So thanks, Celine, for that one. So so breaking ice between students and helping them make friends is absolutely critical to us at Chester. I think we're, you know, we this is called the International Citizen Student Show because our citizen students is all about building those bridges, building social capital, etc. So how we do it. We run live events with international students. We bring in companies and so forth. So not long ago, Trevor and I ran an MBA Awards where we brought the MBA international cohort together with local businesses and facilitated some conversations there. We've had them in companies and field trips out in companies doing live projects. And we're even thinking about doing the International Citizen Student live from our beautiful campus in Chester at Queen's Park with a picnic in the grounds. We'll do some speed networking with other students and with some companies, etc. So we do whatever we can. Elohor, we even had the Social Capital Conference, which you chaired a panel as well, didn't you? So how do you feel about Celine's question?
It was quite a refreshing moment for me because I was able to hear about other people's feedback about networking, and to be honest, it was something for me to capitalize upon because I'd learned the theoretical part about managing people, working with people, but it was time for me to put it into action, and I had to. I'm not really that out there kind of person, extrovert, you know. I like to be a bit between introvert and extrovert, but it was quite okay for me to find out that when you start talking to people, you will realize there's a middle point between where your experience and their experience interject, and you pick it from there and continue, and it's like a merry-go-round. If you continue that relationship, one day before you know it, you might need it, and it's good for you to tap into it. So it's not just I meet you today and I forget about you tomorrow, and when I see you on LinkedIn I just like your picture. It's a continuous process.
Yeah, and just to add to that, in terms of how we support students to be able to break that ice, we've got loads of activities, loads of stuff that we do. For example, even from your induction date, we already have things planned out to ensure that you are able to, at that point, being able to mingle with all the students, being able to see how you get support from students who are from different cohorts, before your cohort. And we also ensure that you are there being able to exchange ideas with peers. We don't just leave you there after the induction, even in our classrooms. For example, we make sure that even in my classroom, I don't just allow students from the same country or the same nationality sit together. I always tell students, you want to turn around, because sometimes in my classroom, I could have students from 10, 12, 15 different countries, which makes it really interesting as a diverse classroom. So we try to do that. And every fortnight, there's something we organize here at the university called the Postgraduate Cafe, the PG Cafe. So what we do is we bring in students, both from MBA, MSc, we bring all international students and home students together online at the comfort of your home, try to exchange ideas, try to do pair sharing, try to co-create knowledge and value together. And that's been really, really positive. So don't worry, we've got students from Jordan in the past, and I'm sure we'll be expecting more students from Jordan. All right. Thank you.
Talking about Jordan, there's someone who had on the comments, and I don't know if you can feature that for me, Dr. Alex. The person's name is Romy Cat Lady. She says, or he said, "Hi, I'm from Chile. Do you have some Latino students that you know of? I haven't heard about them, so I'm a bit worried." So you're not alone. We have different students from different international bodies. But I'll let Trevor. Have you met any Latinos in your class?
Of course.
Yeah.
Yes, I have both undergrads and postgrads. Yes, we'll have a few. Even I'm sure that when you come in, you'll be surprised to even see lecturers who are Latinos. So don't worry about that, okay? And we don't just stop there. We also do projects with some of these countries as well. Alex and I, for example, we're talking of doing stuff before in Brazil, so you're not just going to be all on your own, all right? So you're going to come, you're going to feel at home as much as possible, so long as those activities, those support services out there, utilize them, and trust me, you're going to get value from them.
Right.
Yeah, we perhaps don't have so many Latino students, but what is really, great, the ones that we have, we're also mixing, with students from lots of different countries as well. I love to see that, students mixing from the UK, from India, from Nigeria, from Pakistan, and lots of other, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh. We've got students now, and a growing number of students from about 12, 13 different countries, but the number of nationalities represented across our school faculties is really wide ranging. So you'll find lots going on and lots of friendly people to make friends with and learn, from those other cultures. I mean, part of the live show, we're going to run this picnic in the grounds. We'll ask students to bring food along from Chile, from Brazil, from Nigeria, and food, music, culture, etc., and then sharing those experiences at events and at classrooms and things as well, isn't it? Both online and offline. So I think lots of opportunities there to mix with our diverse mixture of staff and students.
Yeah. So before we invite the guests in, there's just one question I'd like to spotlight before we move on. It says, how do you support international students with disabilities? Who wants to go? But for me, I know the classrooms, the weights, stairs, accommodation, you have rails, toilets, specifically for those who have disabilities. But how else do we support learnings on also living for students with disabilities?
Good. And I'm sure Alex will be able to add a few, but let me just start with that. When you come to University of Chester, there's a sort of service we provide. It's called the PAT services, which is a personal academic tutor service. So what that is when you're here as our students, you're not, apart from the lecturers you meet every time, you have someone that is assigned to look after you. So what that means is not like like mom or dad, but someone you can actually speak to. Okay, so when you are completing the form, already been asked, or have you got any sort of disability you want to declare? Okay, or maybe when you come here, you realize from diagnosis that there's something around learning difficulty or anything that could impair your learning. As far as we are aware, even in our classrooms as lecturers, it's so good that we also provide even a different kind of assignment for our students who we find has got like any sort of learning disabilities or learning difficulties. All right, so there are situations where I have a classroom of like, for example, a number of people, tens of people, and it's meant to be a group work or a group assignment. And if we find out that your learning style will not fit into that sort of assignment and process, what we do is we tend to create another personalized assignment for you. So we understand all of this, but we make sure that your disability is not in any way going to impact your ability to succeed whilst you are here studying at University of Chester. So when you come here, from the basic facilities that we provide, in terms of our customized kind of like teaching, knowing who you are as an individual, tailoring our teaching to meet that needs, we provide that. And the personal academic tutor writes to every lecturer to let them know about what those, again, just understand this, whatever you share with us is kept as confidential. So even students within the class don't need to know. You know, there are students where we might understand that, all right, you need additional laptop, you need additional time writing exams. We provide all of those services for our international students as well as our home students. All right, so that is being looked after. So very, very, very diverse environment for learning. Thank you.
Some really good answers there, folks. I think what's interesting as well is sometimes when our students come, they actually discover, because we've got so much support around disability, physical and mental, people, discover actually that they've got a disability which they might have suspected, something that's kind of, and we will provide for that as well and help with that. But just to kind of reiterate on the International Student Barometer results there, 96.8% feeling safe and secure, etc., which is obviously incredibly important, if you have got a disability as well. Expert lectures, and as you say, Trevor, the support around that, and the quality of lectures and so forth, and the learning. But I think all part of that idea of the language support and the learning support is about supporting people with disabilities, and also people coming from different parts of the world and appropriating different learning styles and different cultures. I think is the reason why we rank so highly around this. And you mentioned the personal academic tutor support also came out incredibly highly in the International Student Barometer. So overall, I think we do a really good job on that area. So thanks for that question, Romy.
Thank you, Romy. So before we have our guests come in, please, Alex, can you bring them up? They will be telling us about their experiences as international students. Just listen. And if you have any question you would like to ask them, I see someone is from Sri Lanka on the comment section. So if you want to ask what it's like for someone from your hometown to be in the UK, the experiences, the food, anything, Sri Lanka and Asha are going to talk about it. So may we meet you, our wonderful guest today. Just introduce yourself and then we'll go down into the questions.
Mm-hmm.
You can start, Asha, please.
Hi, okay, yeah, I'm Asha. I'm part of the MBA program. I'm from Malaysia. I just finished, it was a 1-year program. I just finished and now excitedly waiting to graduate. And I'm more than happy to share my experience actually with the students who are thinking of coming to Chester.
Thank you. And Thisanda, over to you.
Hello everyone, I'm Thisanda Ayuka, and I'm a second year physics student from University of Chester, and I'm from Sri Lanka, and I'm also a student race advocate, and I'm very happy to be here to speak a little bit about my international student experience and settling in the UK.
Awesome. So this question is for both of you, and Alex and Trevor, if you have questions for our wonderful guests, please feel free to ask them. But can you just tell us about how it felt like on your very first day coming to the UK? How excited you were when you were leaving your country, and any other thing you think you'd like to touch on that will give more insights about living and settling in the UK? Ladies first.
Okay, so yeah, so Malaysia is part of the Commonwealth country of nations. So I'm very well acquainted with the UK. English is compulsory language in schools in Malaysia. So it's widely spoken in Malaysia. So language is not a barrier for me. And we learned about the UK. So there's a shared identity between Malaysia and the UK. We learn about history in school, about the UK, as well as the political legal system, similar, the culture, the food. I also learned it from books, TV, media. So I was well acquainted. But more importantly, I would like to just share that I spoke a lot to my friends and seniors who already had studied in the UK, because there are many Malaysian students in the UK, not necessarily in Chester alone, but all over the UK. And Scotland as well, England and Scotland. So I spoke to them to get better acquainted as to what the academic, social life, as well as the weather in the UK is. So I've been to the UK before, as to visit as a tourist before coming to the UK. So I was quite well versed with the academic and social life in the UK. I would say, if you are, I mean, those who are tuning in, if you are similarly from the Commonwealth country of nations, it'd be quite easy for you to ease in. But if you're not, the UK is a global higher education hub. There are plenty of resources available online, actually, that you can avail yourself to do your research on lifestyle and life in the UK, to minimize culture shock and any homesickness, to get better acquainted with the host country. So that is a bit of a background. But the university, so I arrived in the UK, I arrived in London from Malaysia. I came up to Chester on the second day. And on the third day itself, I came to the university to actually collect my BRP card. I would say a few aspects were important to me as an international student. Number one, the residency card. To prove your identity and residence in the UK, registering with the National Health Service and opening a bank account. And for this, the university is so supportive. They have very knowledgeable staff and tools online that international students can access. So you would never be left in the dark. You're always guided to actually, I was always guided to actually avail myself to these. Secondly, in terms of academic matters, sometimes home country and the way of assessment in the UK is a bit different, but the university has very, very helpful and supportive lecturers and librarians who always guide as to how to acclimatize ourselves with the assessment process in the UK and in Chester. So that was a non-issue. Academic life settling in was no problem for me as well. In terms of careers and employability, international students will always want to find out how we can sort of access part-time jobs, sort of to sustain life on a monthly basis. So there is a careers and employability team on campus. They can help to guide as to where international students can go to find part-time job. And the best thing about Chester is that Chester University also offers part-time jobs to students. So that would be a first point of contact if you'd like to sort of source that out to work in the university itself. So that is accessible through portals or through the consultants to guide. And fourthly, in terms of food, that was important to me because I like food, as I'm sure many of us do. So the university, the cafeteria, all main campuses have got their own cafeterias serving a full range of food. And what I liked is that they're very mindful as to the students from the countries that the students come in. So predominantly, Chester students are from South Asia and the African continent, the subcontinent and the African continent. So the food that is served is very much catered towards the palate of international students. So it makes the entire settling in process really quite a breeze. You feel very welcome and taken care of by the university. So it was easy for me to settle in. Of course, it's not always the university. You have to go out and mix and mingle into the community. So the community, what I like about Chester is a small city. So it made me feel safe and secure. It's different from a larger city. The vibe that you get is a safe, secure vibe, whether you go into the supermarkets or a pharmacy or a bank or retail shops or even on the street. It's sort of like a safe environment, and that is important to me. So I never felt lonely or isolated in that sense. So I felt that I really did, make the right decision for myself personally to come into Chester. So as far as settling is concerned, I just want to touch on three other aspects very quickly. In terms of accommodation, it can be a bit of a challenge because supply is limited, demand is high. Always start with the university. University of Chester is good that they provide undergrads and postgraduate students with accommodation. So if that is what you, that is what international students are thinking of, always reach out early to the accommodations team from your home country itself, so that you can see if they can cater towards your needs in terms of accommodation. Otherwise, Chester being such a student-friendly city, there are always private student accommodation providers. All you have to do is do your research online, Google private student accommodation in Chester, and you will be able to suss out something that's suitable for yourselves. I just want to highlight that some students don't know this, but the main private accommodation provider in the UK is Spare Room UK. It's very popular, it's very efficient. You can source out the type of accommodation you want according to your budget and location. So all that you have to do is register an account, and you can communicate freely with the advertiser. So that is as far as navigating accommodation is concerned. Transportation is really a breeze. Chester is a breeze. The bus station and the train station is very close. It's walking distance to the business school campus as well as the main campus. In terms of train, is usually if you want to go out of town to Liverpool or Manchester, which is a very short train ride away, or even to London, which is just a couple of hours away by train, get a rail card. As a university student, you'll be eligible to get a rail card, and that rail card, when you use it for trains, you get a significant discount and savings when you use that. Yeah, the bus station is also in the city center. It's cheaper, it's reliable, efficient, also very close to campuses. And if you need to get around by taxi, I sometimes do that. Also efficient. Download the app or call the taxi service. But what I really like myself personally about Chester is that it's walkable. You can walk just about everywhere, whether you stay in the city or just outside the city, 20 minutes walk in, and everything is accessible. Shops, banks, supermarkets, pharmacies, mobile phone or laptop shops. Everything is accessible in the city center itself. That is what I really like. I tried wanting to look at Liverpool as to whether I would want to stay there, but I didn't. I came back to Chester and decided that this is the place that I'm staying. I'm not going to a bigger city because it cannot beat the convenience and the budget friendliness of just walking about everywhere. Yeah, so that's as far as transportation. You would not have an issue. And finally, fun things to do. So I always kept mentioning that Chester is a small city. So the prospective students tuning in may be wondering, is there anything really to do in Chester being so small? I am happy to report that my program was only for 1 year, but I had so many things to do. Again, the university itself provides so many activities. That's the first point in terms of fun. It is fun. For the fitness enthusiasts, there's a gym, there's a swimming pool, there's a football field, you have badminton, basketball courts, just to name a few. So that will keep you occupied. There are lots of societies and clubs, either country-based or interest-based. They hold activities throughout the year. My personal interest is volunteering. I did a lot of volunteer work in Malaysia and also here in the UK. The university itself has a volunteer hub. So students can register themselves and they get tons of opportunities notified. That is for giving back to the community as well as networking and building social capital. I feel that is really, really, helpful and useful. Then there are lots of talks, events, lectures, seminars, and festival. Chester recently hosted a spring festival called Chestival. It was like 27th of March. It was like a fun fair. It was really fun, really enjoyable. I was there. It was really, really nice. And what I find really unique about our campus at Chester is that they have a bar on campus. Not every university actually has that. So if a student doesn't want to go out to experience the nightlife, you have a bar on campus, everything from drinks, food, music, pool table, and just having a good time. And then also Chester okay, so that's as far as the university is concerned, but you also want to go out into the city. Everything that a big city has, Chester also has sightseeing, restaurants, nightlife, cinema, theatre, music, and whatnot. So, and also Liverpool and Manchester, like I mentioned earlier, is just a short train ride away, London as well. So I've had a memorable and a fantastic student experience. I am, pretty sad that my student journey has come to an end, but if I had a chance to study again, I'll choose Chester again over any other universities in the UK. So
Asha.
thank you.
Asha, thank you. You know when you ask someone to give a tidbit and they give you the whole textbook, that is Asha for you. You've definitely itemized almost everything we need to know. But there's one point you mentioned that I really want to applaud the university for when I came in. It was around the bank. When I first came in, I was trying to figure out how will I get to um, the financial institution and how do I navigate that. And I noticed there was a letter. You get a letter which you go to the bank with, and it's easy for you to open your bank account. And with your BRP, for those of you that like to travel while studying, you can use it to travel. If you don't want to, you stay. But I want to ask Thisanda, Ayuka, would you like to share about your experience, given that you're coming from Sri Lanka? How has it been? And also knowing that you're an undergraduate student, most people who have been on the call are postgraduates, but what do you think as an undergraduate student? How has it been for you?
Thank you very much. I guess part of when I was settling into the UK, the whole process started a bit before I came in. So I'm a science student, so I always like to prepare a bit ahead. And I had a look at did a bit of research into into Chester and to see a little bit of the place and see what's going on. And I found Chester to be very beautiful even before I came in. And now I think it's one of the best places in the world. Um, I guess one of the things that really impacted when I settled in was the difference in the education system of the two countries. So back in Sri Lanka, everything is very lecture based, and everything is assessed through exams. However, in the UK, a lot of the education system is quite independent work, and I think this was something very interesting. Of course, it was very challenging at first because when I first came in and we just started, we had our first assignment about literally 2 weeks after we after induction, and our lecturer just gave us a lab report, and I was like, "Wait, how do I reference? I have no clue of how to reference stuff." And I was just shocked. I was just staying there for 3 days. I was like, what am I gonna do? And of course, our lecturers are quite nice, and they provided me with a lot of resources and a software called EndNote, which I to this day live upon. Is one of the best things that ever happened. They supported me in sort of settling into that academic writing techniques as well. And thanks to some of the English courses that the university provides for international students. Another challenge I think that Asha as well pointed out was ethnic food. So obviously, Chester doesn't have a particular large amount of Sri Lankan food, but there is a place in Chester called Brook Street where you can find a lot of ethnic food. And I go there very often to get something like Sri Lankan curry powder or Jaffna curry powder. I think it's one of the nicest places in Chester if you want to get ethnic food. Um, and in terms of sort of opening bank accounts and registering with the NHS, I think one of the places that helped me quite a lot was PASS, the pre-arrival site for international students, provides loads of information. I think it's like a pot of gold. And if you're an international student listening, I think it's one of those places that you should really read. I know it might not sound interesting, but it has so much of information that can really help you. For me personally, when I moved in, I wanted to be a bit independent and didn't really want the support of my parents and thought I'd start working. And when it came to like working and finding part-time work, the toolkit helped me massively to understand the sort of like visa rules are surrounding work as well as the hours that you're limited to. At the same time, the careers department supported me a lot in making a CV and just getting out there and reaching out to employers. And I think that supported me a lot. And I was able to find part-time work, and I'm also currently working at university as well, which is going very well. And also, one of the things that is interesting about me is I'm an agnostic Buddhist. So, and for a person who's a Buddhist, I was quite scared if there's any place that I could sort of practice my faith in. And that's where the chaplaincy department at the university supported me quite a lot. And there's a Buddhist chaplain at chaplaincy who's been such a massive help. We've had meditation sessions, which I think have been very nice because I've been able to sort of be tied to my religious roots as well through that. And I think it was one of the best things ever. Well, in terms of speaking of settling in, I think one of the things that I dealt with massively was homesickness, and of course, everyone faces homesickness to a certain extent. But I think when I first moved in, and this is a funny story. It's just I moved on the second day I came to the UK. I thought it was funny to walk with flip flops during early September, and then like literally 2 minutes in, I was like, oh no, I'm going back. I need to wear shoes. But coming from a country with very warm weather, uh, I was just used to wearing flip flops. Um, but with weather, I think a lot of the problems that come across is homesickness, and you're not used to the weather. And believe it or not, the weather really impacts how you feel. And of course, when we had holidays, of course, I was very homesick, and I think this is significantly where friends matter a lot. And I had loads of friends, and they were very supportive in and getting away from the homesickness and the loneliness that I felt of moving in. And now we have such a fun time. And I have a friend who's based in the UK, and I usually go to his place for Christmas, celebrate Easter with him. And I think that just the having friends massively changes things and makes the experience much more fun. Also, I think one of the underrated things about moving in and settling in is uh, just talking to your lecturers. I think lecturers can be extremely supportive, and sometimes even including myself, I've been scared to talk to them. I'm like, oh my god, this is so daunting. Coming from a mindset of from my country, I'm just so scared. But I think it's something that everyone has to do. And if you feel like you're not able to sort of cope up with things, it's always nice to talk to your PAT or personal academic tutor or your lecturers and just say, well, I'm finding this hard. Could you help me? And one of the nicest things about Chester is I think the lecturers in Chester are some of the best I've ever seen in my life and have supported me massively through academic endeavors, but not just that, in sort of figuring out life in a different country. And I think if for any prospective students, I think it would also be really worth following the university on social media. They always publish vlogs about how student life goes, and I think it's a good way to sort of get a taste of what student life looks like. And those have been really helpful as well. Of course, apart from that, to talk a little bit about transportation, I think Chester has such a great railway station that just and you're probably an hour away from Liverpool or Manchester, or you're very close to London as well. And I personally, if I ever want to try ethnic food, if there isn't one in Chester, I just go take the train to Liverpool or take the train to London, where I can find some ethnic food. But yeah, I think that's I would say settling in has been a bit of a bittersweet journey. There's been some scary parts as well, especially with homesickness and sort of being lonely and not having any family. But I guess one of the best things that you could do is to stay in touch with family, as well as make friends, join societies and different and take part in community projects, and it'll help you make friends from everywhere possible, from every part of the world. And I think meeting people from different parts of the world is one of the most beautiful things and one of the best ways you can improve your international student experience.
All right, thank you so much. And before you leave, and I'll also like to throw the question to you, Thisanda, and also to Asha. In a few words or sentence, what would you do differently if today were to be your very first day in the UK? What would you do differently compared to when you first came in that you think others will be able to benefit from?
Okay, for my part, yeah. Okay, I'll go first. For my part, I would first of all, the first thing that I would do is actually to check out the extracurricular activities that the university has to offer in terms of societies, clubs, volunteering, and fitness facilities. I left that towards the later part of my academic journey to get involved, but I think that is really important to actually network and build social capital. Your academic journey is just one. The friends that you meet, from all over the world, you become friends, eventually over time. But this aspect is important so that it would ease you into life and society in general, apart from academic life. So I would actually go straight into extracurricular activities. I would not leave it for later if I were doing it now.
Awesome. Yeah. Point from you, Thisanda, and I think Trevor has something to add.
I guess I would say two things, and I would reiterate something that Dr. Trevor said is where I guess this is something that I did is when you come in, don't get overwhelmed and take one step at a time. Take it slow. Everyone's facing the same issue, so take it slow. Take it at steps that are comfortable to you, and don't be scared to ask people. Don't be scared to ask help. There's so many resources at university. Don't be scared to ask for help. And the second thing I would say is something that Asha said as well. I would, if I were to do things differently, I would have started on extracurricular activities a bit earlier. I was scared. I'm more of an introvert, and I just went, "Oh, am I going to do this? Oh, I feel like there's so many people in badminton. I'm not going to go today." But I feel like if I could have done things differently, I would have done it. And now I'm in the swimming club, the badminton club, and I enjoy those things, and I enjoy the friends that I've made.
Awesome. Thank you so much, both of you. You've been wonderful guests. Alex and Trevor, do you have any questions for them? Do you have any points to add? We'd like to hear from both of you.
I was just going to ask about the banking and the cash situation, because Trevor and I, this has come up quite a lot recently. I like a lot of organisations, and our university's gone cashless recently, and obviously sometimes our international students come in and they haven't always been able to yet set a bank account up. So what advice have you got for any students kind of coming in to the UK to study or coming to Chester if they've not been able to set a bank account up? Like how can we work around that in the short term when places like our university are cashless?
For me, Alex, I've seen our university cafeteria staff. They were so supportive. I'm very happy to see it. There was one, I believe, in the February intake. There was one student who came in. He did not have a card with him or a usable card. And the cafeteria staff were nice enough to actually pay on his behalf, and he actually gave them the cash. So that is, I felt that was, I was looking at it and I was like, wow, it was really, really nice of them to be so supportive. And I thought that was wonderful. So perhaps that is something that we can take forward and appreciate our cafeteria staff and management for.
Really good. I know a lot of students now have got things like Monzo cards as a kind of a quick option. And there's obviously lots of shops, but all of our campuses are kind of, our sites are near to all the shops as well, aren't they? Kind of food shops which accept cash. So perhaps there's something kind of orientation. I love what Thisanda said about kind of getting involved with some of the extracurricular things earlier. But again, I suppose it's just like getting out into Chester, isn't it? And finding out what's out there in terms of the shops that sell English food or more ethnic food, and which ones accept cash and which ones don't. It's just sort of orienting yourself around the city a little bit, isn't it? And finding out what's out there. And obviously Google's your friend for that as well, isn't it, I guess?
Just to add a point or two, because I had that issue when I came in. I came with quite a lot of dollars and I had to look for how to convert it. It's now a process. It's now more of a seamless process for international students, especially those coming from Africa, to be able to convert their Naira or their CDs or their M-Pesa to pounds. So there are apps out there like Lemfi and quite a lot of other ones that you just convert your national currency to pounds, and then from there you move it to your pounds account. So it's encouraging cashless policy. I can't remember the last time I had cash on me, but everywhere you go, you just tap. You link it to your Apple Pay or to your Google Pay, and you just tap when you're going out and coming in. And when you get back to your home country, don't expect to tap. If you need to pay cash, you have to pay cash. That's why you have to adapt to the system. So do you have anything to add, Trevor?
I think thank you so much, Asha and Thisanda. Really, really good presentation, and I think you've touched on really, really interesting points today. And I'm pleased that you both did say that if you were going to do it again, you try and catch up with extracurricular activities a bit early. And I agree with you because with the very first experience I had with Asha, being the MBA director, I remember I was going to do the induction for them, and on getting to the university, and I was told by the admin team, I was on time even before the induction time. And they said there's a student who's already in the room waiting 30 minutes before, like, oh my God, And that's all about the nervousness. I bet so. I was surprised Asha didn't mention that. She was the very first, so I can't forget that day. She was like 30, 45 minutes before the time. And I got to the room like, are you okay? Yes. Is everything fine? Trying to reassure her. And from that day, she's been so engaging. And even until tomorrow, I'm really pleased that Asha is one of the very few international students we have who come back now to see how she can also support current students. So well done to you all. And Thisanda, thank you. It's good to hear from someone from the physics side of things and from an undergraduate. So please, by all means, thank you for sharing your experience. Thank you. And so for the, we've got an event on the 29th of April. And this is part of the event where we also welcome international students who are going to be coming in now. So the induction, the academic induction will commence on the 30th of April. So on the 29th, we prepare like a little bit of event for them. Just like a welcome event, get their BROP cards, get settled in, meet some academics so that they don't have to come in 40 minutes before the time the next day like Asha did, just to make them feel welcome. And also, this is also to invite students, particularly international students. We've got an international student networking cafe, which is next week, Tuesday on the 23rd at 1:30 p.m., where international students can come together, meet support staff from support services, meet academic staff. So we're just going to be there, share, eat, drink together, and have a lot of discussions around how we can further support them. So a lot is happening in terms of how we can support and enhance the international student experience. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I'd just like to look at one or two of the comment section, and they are actually around accommodation. Asha had spoken covered about the accommodation aspect, but there was something someone asked in the comments, and Maxwell said, I am from Cameroon. Sorry, Alex. He says, I am from Cameroon. Settling isn't as easy, especially in a new environment, which is true. How can Chester help, especially in search of job and position opportunities? So she had mentioned, I would just like to reiterate that we have help from the university itself, and also the way you start it will also help the way you continue. So when you come in, immediately you come in, if you start giving yourself the energy to start looking for jobs that relate to your passion, to your timing, don't just go for any job available like I did. That's one mistake I made. But if you can, and if that's what's best for you, you can do that. And then Serena asked about, I'm from Zimbabwe. It's nice to meet you. I just wanted to find out if there's any specific accommodation exclusive for postgraduate students at the University of Chester. I am not aware of that, but does anybody know about specific postgraduate accommodations?
No, we don't have any specific accommodation at Chester, but as Asha was saying, I think Asha touched on this earlier. Start off with the university's accommodation first, and then work beyond it. Certainly, a lot of our postgraduates are living in Chester, in Liverpool, in Manchester, and there's lots of kind of private accommodation set up for that as well. Like everywhere else in the UK, it's quite challenging at the moment in accommodation, but I think we are well set up now, because of the way we deliver postgraduate, particularly in block delivery. It enables our students to live and work in neighbouring cities there as well, where there's lots of accommodation options. So I just wanted to pick up on, there's a few people asking about what's the dates of enrolments, etc. So fortunately, our colleague Jodie's just mentioned about deadlines for September not yet being set. They're expected to set around the start mid-May time, and they're published on the following webpage as well. So keep an eye on the university social media channels and so forth as well on that front as well. Elohor, Trevor, anybody, any we can't pick up all the questions and comments from today, but we will try and do that after the show. But is there any comments you want to pick up? Anybody? I'll boost those to the screen. So we'll give a shout to our watching from Nairobi in Kenya. And Jennifer's watching from the UK.
Swamp now from India.
Sri Lanka. Oh, there's someone asking about health surcharges. Are they different for people who live inside and outside the UK? Health surcharges? I don't know if we can pick that one up.
It's quite different, but it's also part of your visa application. So sorry, Trevor.
Right.
Over to you, Trevor.
Oh, no, when it comes to the NHS EDSA charges, I think it's the same for everyone, even if you're living here and you're living outside the UK. So long as it's applicable to your visa, then you have to pay. Yeah. All right. And I can see that Asib Ali from Pakistan, I want to know when I have to pay the CAS fee for September intake. And I think when you say the CAS fee, I'm not sure. I think the first thing is just going with the enrollment. I don't think you need to pay necessarily for the CAS. When you pay, you get the admission. And I'm sure International can touch more on this. They'll be able to provide you with the CAS letter, the CAS certificate, which you would need to be able to support your study visa application. Awesome. So again, thank you, Asib, for joining today.
Thank you. So if you have any question around accommodation, reach out to the accommodations teams on accommodations@chester.ac.uk. If you have any inquiries at all about support or any additional thing about your visa, your CAS, reach out to international@chester.ac.uk. And if you want to find more about payments, information, just look at the link, which is, I think you can find this on Facebook even after this live is over. So just click on it and make sure, don't be shy, like Thisanda and Asha had mentioned. Reach out to people, go to LinkedIn and look for people who are currently in Chester that are in your environment and ask questions. I bet you they will always answer you. If you can even look for Trevor and Dr. Alex on Dr. Trevor and Dr. Alex on LinkedIn, I bet you they will answer you. All right, thank you so much. Someone says, what happens when I cannot travel yet I already got a visa? Would you want to touch on that, please?
Yeah, this can be quite challenging at times. Obviously, we try to make sure that everything lines up in terms of students be able to arrive in good time to be able to settle into the UK, to undertake their induction. Because certainly postgraduate level, Asha and Elohor will be able to tell you it's the 13 months goes quite quickly. So we like students to arrive in good time. But what happens when I can't travel? Yeah, I already got a visa. Obviously, sometimes there are delays, and those delays can be created for a number of different reasons. We try and make sure students arrive in good time. But if for some reason there is a delay on that, we try and do everything we can to try and make sure that you can catch up, and that. Even Asha, you could probably talk a little bit about how you've been supporting some of the students that arrive late, because I know you've done some work kind of mentoring and supporting a little bit as well, haven't you?
Yes, I have been shadowing Dr. Trevor in some of his classes, and we had a very fruitful session, I would say, supporting the students in their research proposal. Sharing with them what we did right and what we do, if there's anything that we didn't do right, sharing with them so that they can minimize mistakes on their part, and supporting them throughout. So that is a peer mentoring. Yeah, that's a peer mentoring is something that I'm very happy that the university has as a support for existing students. So that is both beneficial for the existing students as well as for the peer mentor, both in terms of personal and academic development. So yes.
And just to add to that, as soon as you get a visa and you're not able to travel, the first thing you should do is to contact the international department. Let them know you've already got the visa, because they will be aware, but just let them know you can't travel and the reason you can't travel. So that way they let us know in the faculty that these are the situations or this is the issues or concerns you've got. So but we have system in place to see how we support you. Plus students who come in weeks after. not deliberate. Okay, so please don't do that deliberately. Then you come in and don't show up. No, we don't like that. But if it's beyond your control and it happens, sometimes we've had situations where we had to stream classes to students who are still overseas, just to ensure that we support and carry everyone along. So we do that all the time. The MBA team, not just the MBA, everyone in the business school, we do that, and across the university. So don't worry about that. That support will come. Ahmed, good to see you here. Ahmed, very good. That's Ahmed from Turkey, and I'm really pleased that we have students from people from every part of the world. We've got from USA, Pakistan, Turkey, Chile. So it's really, really good. From Nigeria as well. Nigeria, Zimbabwe. So well done to all of you. And please, next month we're really going to be talking about visas. Yep. Okay, so in our next episode, we're going to be covering lots of discussions around visas. I know people are panicking, thinking, the UK is going to change the laws around graduate visas. So we'll say, don't panic, okay? Calm down and wait for the episode next month. And we're going to have Lauren, who was one of the really top people when it comes to visa advice from our study visa team, who's going to be our guest on that show. So she's going to come here and come in with any question you've got that is visa related. As far as she could, I know she will be providing you with really, really wonderful responses that will help inform your decision. Okay, so thank you very much, and continue to share the invite to all the friends, colleagues around the world so that they can continue to join some of these episodes. And if you've got any fantastic idea for us, what you want us to cover or touch on, by all means, leave us a message. Say, can you guys talk about this? Can you guys say more around this? Remember, the show is for you, it's not for us. Okay? Yeah. Thank you very much, Elo. Thank you, Alex. And thank you to our wonderful guests today.
Thank you, everybody else. Can we just see our trophy once more?
Yeah.
So there you go.
Yes. Business School of the Year award.
Educator and all. Look at that. So there you go.
That's last night.
In 1 minute, Alex, do you have anything to tell us to wrap up? What do you want to advise those who are currently in and those coming in about settling into the UK, and then we take it back?
I think that is it. We've covered a lot of great ground there, haven't we? And I'm really thanks so much to Thisanda and Asha, our guests. And obviously you guys as co-hosts. I'm looking forward to our next show, which we believe will be on the 22nd of May, and we're going to pick up on some of these visa issues. And thanks to all our audience for joining us. Yep. Lots of vibrant comments as always. Keep them coming. As Trevor said, let us know what you want to hear on the show, and spread the word and spread the love, everybody. So thank you very much, Elohor and Trevor, for your time as well. It's always a pleasure.
All right, so that's it on today's episode of Settling in the UK for international students. And thank you so much for joining our International Citizen Students Show. We know it's a mouthful, but we thank you very much, and we hope we're able to make some real impact in your lives and make decisions when you come into the UK. If you have any questions, feel free to link up with us on our LinkedIn on International Citizen Students Show. Feel free to chat us up, and we're going to definitely respond to you, or comment on Facebook or on the YouTube. If you leave a chat, definitely you'll get response. Same time on the 22nd, or if there's any change, we'll let you know. But while you're still at it, be good, be kind, and have a good day and rest of the season. Cheers.
All right.